This presentation is about State Street and the Loop by Matthew Irving. For boundaries, the boundaries I chose are between State and Kinsey Street and State and Roosevelt Road. State Street is mostly made up of businesses that run along the street. The reason I chose these boundaries is I felt that stretch is a busy part of State Street and a relevant area in the city to study. The stretch of State Street between Kinsey Street and Roosevelt Road is also very recognizable because of all the landmarks that run along the street. For urban design, the street width is about 60 feet. Uh, with street furniture, there's planters that run down State Street with flowers, and there's also some street trees that are planted along State Street, but they provide a little bit of greenery, but not a lot in such an urban transect zone. Uh, with the buildings, there's no distance between the buildings, and the parkways are all stone and concrete, as mentioned earlier, and there's little greenery on State Street. My research question was, does the presence of landmarks on State Street increase the amount of pedestrian traffic? The stretch of State Street I chose has a lot of landmarks that run across it, such as the Chicago Theater or the Harold Washington Library. Walking up and down State Street is evident that people walk past and congregate in front of some of the landmarks, such as the Chicago Theater on State and Lake, or near Marshall Fields and Block 37 on State and Randolph, especially on nicer days and on the weekends. State Street is a pretty nice street, but could use some improvement. Here's some recommendations that might improve State Street. My first one was having more all-way crosswalks like the one on State and Jackson. Having more of these would protect pedestrians and make them feel more comfortable and make crossing the street more efficient for them. I feel like some good spots to implement these would be State and Randolph or State and Washington, as those are some of the busier intersections on State. And then I was also thinking about having more seating, like the seating on Argyle Street or the seating in front of Chick-fil-A, because this gives people a place to sit, and there just isn't a lot of street furniture on State Street. I feel like the sidewalks are pretty wide and they could utilize some of that space and have more seating. And then another point I had was renovations to empty storefronts and buildings. Especially there's like a lot of vacant stuff south on State Street, and a prime example is 202 South State Street, which is an empty building which could be utilized and bring like a lot of business and opportunity to State. And then I was also thinking about more divvy station as there's a lot of or dead empty bikes or dead e-bikes, and more bikes would promote cycling.